Well, hello there and welcome back to this F1 2018 Williams career mode. We're at round 2 of the Sakhir International Circuit in the Kingdom of Bahrain. The 3 practice sessions have been and gone. Happy to report that we're on the pace. We're sort of slightly higher than we were in Australia. We're sort of banging the midfield really. It's sort of around about maybe 12th to 15th, something like that. So I've got a sneaky chance of maybe making it through into the second qualifying session. We've got 3 messages. I have high expectations for you for this session, so give it everything you've got. Weather forecast, dry of course, and at night time, both for qualifying in the races, the first of 3 night races that we'll have this season, and a bit of a blurb about the Bahrain International Circuit as well. Nothing too important there really. I know the circuit quite well. Contract, nothing else has changed here as you can see. Rivalry driver details, maybe we can select a new rival. No, not yet. So what do I need to go to now? I need to go to this one here, performance. Yeah, of course, nothing. We haven't done anything. Obviously, we got these 2 upgrades coming at some point, and of course on the progress history, of course, no teams have done an upgrade yet. We'll hopefully see some changes made once we go into China. The one thing that has obviously come on the car is this one here, the 10% durability increase on all the units, including the gearbox, so that's quite nice. And then we'll now move over to get everything else done. So a 520, it's saying these I think might go up in price. But of course we've got 1 unit for the chassis department waiting to come in, and 1 unit for the aerodynamic department. We're already up to 1,483 resource points, very good in qualifying, 315 out of 325. But we can't do anything else until after the until next week, because obviously we can only do 1 upgrade per department. So it might be an opportunity then to get into the powertrain and get one of these done, or to be honest, we could just spend a shed load on the durability, or we could save up in case these parts fail. I don't know, many choices, but we'll make a decision at the end of this episode. As for the power units, then 25% already on the ICE. We've only completed 84 laps on it. 15% on the MGU-K, 19 on the MGU-H. Energy store is in the low 14. 18% for the turbocharger, and the electronics are at 15. So already starting to see some significant wear coming in. Practice gearbox. We can order a new practice gearbox at any time. We can order one every race if we want to. It makes no difference to us. We don't pick up any penalties. Of course, the event gearbox is a different one. If we have to change this out before we've done 6 weekends in a row, which will be Monaco. So if we manage to get complete Monaco with the same gearbox, we don't get a penalty. We can have a free change. If we have to change it before the race in Monaco, we get a 5 place, or I think it might be a 10 place grid penalty. We're already up to 18% on that. So expect that to be probably into the 30% area once we complete the qualifying and the race. So then qualifying, like I said, we'll go to that now. Like I said, pacing practice has been okay. I've got an outside chance of making Q2, which would be nice. Bahrain is one of my favourite circuits on here, so I'm hoping to go quite well. Hopefully similar sort of weekend that we had at Australia, where we just keep out of trouble, just focus on our own race, and just go for the easy overtakes, and just make sure we are consistent with our lap times and where we're braking and the pit stops and all that, and hopefully we can put off a good result. So we'll go to qualifying and see if we can make it through Q1. So here we are in the garage. You can see the flashes on various people's camera phones and handheld cameras popping off in the crowd. Quite nice. So then, no one out on circuit yet. Session's only just started. Tyres for this weekend: super soft, soft and medium. 6.5 tenths between the super softs and the softs, and exactly the same between the softs and the mediums. So again, a nice spread like we saw in Australia. The car setup that we're running with: 2.8 laps worth of fuel. Obviously, we want to be as light as possible during our qualifying runs. 3.8 in the wing, same as Australia. Transmission 85/75. Believe that was the same as Australia. Suspension geometry I've left in the middle. Suspension 5.5 on the front and rear suspension, and the ARBs 4.4 for the ride height. Brakes all the way. Pressure 90%, and the bias a bit lower than I usually go for 55, but it balances well and it's feeling quite nice. Tyres 2 clicks to the right. Is it 2 clicks to the right? I'm not too sure. We can do 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2. Yep, 2 clicks to the right on the front tyres, and 1 click to the right on the rear, because it is quite warm here anyway. 25 degrees ambient temperature, 30 degrees track temperature, so we don't want to push these up too high, because otherwise we'll start overheating the tyres too quickly and be burning through our tyres at a rapid rate. And of course the weight distribution is at 6. Some people run 8, 9, 7, 8, 9, but I like running 6. I don't like too much of an oversteery car. I have a habit of braking early for corners and then sort of powering out sort of mid corner. A lot of people are still braking at that point, which is why they can run a higher ballast, but my driving style means I have to run a slightly lower ballast, and 6 seems to work nice for me. So 16 and 25 seconds left of the session. There's a few cars out on circuit, so I think we'll do exactly the same thing. Get out there for our first run and see where we compare. So then, our first lap is in the bag, a 1 minute 30.900. Need 2.1 seconds off the pace of, I believe, Raikkonen, who is the fastest so far. It was a scrappy sector 2, excuse me. Sector 1 and Sector 3 was quite nice. We're sort of on the pace of Van Dorn in the McLaren. In fact, we're 3 tenths quicker than him, so we're sort of closer to the pace, really, with Hulkenberg. But yeah, we lost a lot of time in Sector 2. Hit the curb a bit too aggressively on the exit of the fast sort of left section going into Sector 2. And then we took too much curb on the inside of a double left-hander down at turns 9 and 10, which pitched the outside of the car into a bit of a half spin. So I can definitely improve. And I still think we've got an outside chance of making Q2. So we'll go out again with about 6 minutes left of the session and go for a second flying run. So just under 5 minutes left of the session. My teammate Sakhir has just gone quicker than me. We're down in 17th place at the moment. We need to be 15th or above to get through to Q2. So I'm going to go out now. We'll change the tyres. There we go. And that's exactly what I'm going to do, Jeff. So we're going to leave the garage now. We'll fire up the Mercedes engine.
Let's go.
That sounds lovely when it echoes in the back of the garage. It's really loud in my headphones. So we'll come out then. We'll do a slow out lap to try and save the tyres, but try to burn off as much fuel as we can. And then hopefully go for a quick one. So out lap completed. Going out the final corner. Clear track ahead. Let's get into Q2. But we have successfully made it through 14th place. We're into Q2 for the first time this season. It only took us 2 races. Vettel and Raikkonen the fastest for Ferrari. Both Bottas and Hamilton and Mercedes decided to use up their soft tyres. But yeah, we've managed to make it through in 14th place. So Gasly, Van Dorn, Sorokin in 18th, Hartley and Ericsson, the 5 drivers that have been eliminated. So we go into Q2 then. Realistically, we're fighting Leclerc to not be 15th and last. But we do have 1 set of super soft tyres. So we can only do 1 run. Pointless doing it on the softs, we will be 15th. But yeah, it's nice to get through to Q2 at least. It wasn't enough. We didn't do enough. I think we set a low 1 minute 31. Made a big mistake again at turn 10 in sector 2. Too much curb, snap oversteer. But these are the top 10 that have managed to make it through. Both the Mercedes, both the Ferraris, both the Renaults, the Force India Perez, Magnussen and Ricciardo, which means that Grosjean, Verstappen, he risked it. Look at that. He risked it on the soft tyres and unfortunately he's being eliminated. Ocon in 13th, Leclerc in 14th, and ourselves in 15th. Yeah, so Red Bull then, they played a risky game there. Ricciardo just about made it through, but Verstappen didn't. So one of the big boys then, out in Q2. Just a halfway breakdown, we both completely qualified. I set the fastest lap. So with that rivalry quite nicely, I do apologise, I am yawning. 8-3 against Sorokin, so that's fine. Resource points in for qualifying. We managed to make it through to Q2, so we get a bit more than normal. Yeah, 160, very nice. 1,658. Reputation's gone up a little bit with Williams, which is nice. No real change there. Right. So yeah, that's qualifying over and done with.
Successful qualifying. We should be in with a good chance in the race.
Yeah, making Q2 for the first time this season is promising. Hopefully we can keep it clean. One message in. Good luck today. The whole team being flat out all weekend to give you the best shot we can of a good result. And that's up to you to do the same. Keep a cool head and pay attention to the space around you, especially on the opening couple of laps. There will be cars making unpredictable movements, so you will need to anticipate that and be ready to react. One more thing, don't forget to drink. The car has a water bottle, so make sure you use it and stay hydrated. You know how hot it gets in there. From Jeff. Don't worry about a water bottle. I've got a bottle of water next to me here, so I am well hydrated. Nothing else to look at then, really. We'll have a look at the units. 27% now. How's the gearbox doing? 21. So yeah, hopefully in a couple more races to go by, we can get some more durability done because it's a bit high already. But anyway, we'll go to the race. We'll have a look at the introduction for the Bahrain Grand Prix, the grid formation, see if anyone has any early grid penalties due to component changes, and then have a look at our race strategy from the first time making Q2.
Curtain rises once more then on the desert stage of Sakhir as the players take their places for the opening act. Will they enthrall us like they did in 2014 with that titanic battle between Nico Rosberg and Lewis Hamilton? Well, we'll find out shortly as we get underway here in Bahrain. We'll be racing around 3.36 miles of the magnificent Bahrain International Circuit today with 15 corners and 2 DRS zones into turns 1 and turn 11. That should create some good passing opportunities. Keep an eye out for drivers locking the front left down into the tricky braking zone of turn 10. Bahrain has showed us many times in the past though, Anthony Davidson, that a good strategy will only take you so far. But beyond that, you need good racecraft and you need good consistency.
And a little bit of luck too, I'd say. This is one of those circuits where the safety car always seems to come out just at the right time to condense the field together and mix up the cars on different strategies. It's hard on brakes, it's tough on fuel, and the main overtaking opportunity is down into turn 1, where it's easy to outbrake your opponent and potentially have a bit of argy-bargy as well.
Well then, after an exciting qualifying session yesterday, let's take a look at how the cars line up. Good job yesterday from Valtteri Bottas. The Finn starts from pole position, and it's Lewis Hamilton alongside. Looking down the rest of the grid, we have Ricciardo, Vettel, Kimi Räikkönen, and Magnussen, Sainz, Perez, Hülkenberg, and Fernando Alonso. Grosjean, Verstappen, Esteban Ocon, and Leclerc, Williams, Gasly, Stoffel Van Dorn, and Sergei Sorokin. Hartley and Marcus Ericsson rounds off the grid. Now it's almost time to lights out, so let's go down to the track.
So then, there is the introduction. No grid penalties yet. It's only the second race. They might start creeping in maybe about round 4 or 5, something like that. So we'll have a look at the race strategy. Super soft, soft and soft. Can we edit that strategy by any chance? We can. I'm tempted to go for something a bit risky here. Can we do a one-stop? Is it possible to do a one-stop? We're going to go for it. We're going to do a one-stop. We're going to try the one-stop here. Projected race time, 6.5 seconds up. Yeah, it's 23 seconds quicker than a free stop. Yeah, so we've got to be cautious. It's under field me. But I'm probably not going to be running rich mix too much because it'll add quite a lot of wear to the tyres. But we're going to go for the one stop here. We're probably going to be the only driver starting on the medium tyres. Everyone else is going to be going for 2, maybe 3. Excuse me. But yeah, we're going to risk it to one stop. Let's go for it. Let's see what happens. It's paid off for me before in previous career modes and previous races at Bahrain. The one stop is usually king here, but we have to look after the tyres and we have to keep it clean. So that is the race strategy then, and we'll get this race on the go after the formation lap. So hold the clutch in, build the revs up. We're the only ones starting on the medium tyres. We have to keep it clean. Lights out and away we go now. Oh, plenty of wheel spin. Medium tyres not providing a lot of grip. And we're hemorrhaging positions here early on. Dive up the inside of a handful of people though. Oh. 16th place, we've lost a position to Gasly, but we've got a run on him. Coming up to turn 3. Don't cream into the back of Leclerc, whatever you do. So 15th place, we've regained our position that we started from. Oh, we understeer. We're not going to be quick on these tyres, I can tell you that much. Oh wow, they're all slow into here. Move it down to ERS mode 3. I said we just got to keep it clean. If people are going to put an overtake on this, it might be easier to just let them go. Oh, I can't even do that corner flat on these tyres. So Hamilton sets the fastest lap, which means he's in the lead of the race. We complete lap 1, 14th place. Leclerc is gaining. Come on to complete lap 2. I've got Leclerc right up behind me. And DRS has now been enabled coming into lap 3. So back down to 15th place. And I've got Gasly behind me on the super soft tyres. He'll be probably putting a move on in a not too distant future. We've just got to stick to our race plan here. The race will come to us. So we've got Gasly behind me now, who's going to be getting DRS off me. Little concerns are already up to 20% on the left rear, and we haven't even completed the 5th lap yet, so I'm probably going to knock the diff down a little bit, and that will stop the wheels rotating at different speeds. It'll make me a little slower, but it should save the tyre life just a bit more. Even if it's a couple of percent per lap, we might be able to go forward 2 or 3 more. So we'll do that now. We'll knock the diff down to 65 instead of 85, see if that makes a difference. Into lap 6, some of the top guys are already making their first pit stops, up to 12. We'll continue to rise through the field now for the next handful of laps, because we're not planning on pitting for, well, it's humanly possible, really. I want to at least get to about lap 18, I reckon. So Gasly peels off to get off his super soft tyres. Yet again, more drivers in the pits. We've added 4% on that lap, which is pretty much what we're averaging at the moment anyway, so turning the diff down doesn't seem to be making much of a difference. I'm in ERS mode 2 now, rather than 1, to save energy, because I don't really want to be running rich mix, because that will definitely add life to the tyres. This is all a game about numbers at the moment. We've got to hit numbers to make this strategy work, because if we can make this work and remain relatively quick throughout, we could be on for quite a good result. We're already up into 9th, and there's a lot of people that still have to make another pit stop. So we're coming to complete lap 9. The yellow flag's behind me for something. Here comes Bottas. He's already made his first pit stop. So the leader's starting to come through now. There's a Ferrari coming out the pits as well. So we're right amongst the big boys. In theory, we are technically fighting them, because we've all got a 1 pit stop more to make. Some of them possibly 2. But it's all about being consistent at this point. This is the crucial stage now to make sure we can get these tyres as far as possible and still set representable lap times. So Ricardo's got Paris going into the final corner. Oh god. Oh, that was close. Don't be losing time fighting these guys. It's all a bit pointless. It's Magnussen's turn now to demote me to 10th. It's fine, no. Don't mind at this point. Just got to keep it smooth. So come on to complete lap 13. That's the tyre situation. We're only 7/10 off our personal best. So these are very These are very consistent tyres as Perez flashes past us. But 53% on the left rear. It is concerning, but I'm not losing too much grip yet from the rear tyres. So I think we can probably push to maybe lap 17, 18 at best, and then go for a set of soft tyres to the end. So just coming out the final corner now to end lap 15. That means 15 laps of these medium tyres. We bumped it up back into ERS mode number 3, and I think I'm about to set a new personal best by 8 tenths of a second as science comes through. So there we go. Yeah, I just found 8 tenths per second from somewhere. So we're coming in now then, end of lap 18. I just checked the tyres, 79% wear. So yeah. We managed to do 18 laps relatively unscathed and quite quick as well. Now we'll see where we rejoin and see if anyone else still needs to make another pit stop. So we're trundling down the pit lane at the moment. I think we're going to rejoin in 13th behind Alonso. And ahead of Grosjean, who's actually in the pits. That's Hulkenberg, who's on the medium. So I'm surrounded by people then that are on medium tyres. We're on soft, so we will be quicker. But of course, we've got to play the long game here and do 10 laps on a set of soft tyres, which should be okay considering we've done 18 on the mediums. So it's coming across the line to complete lap 22. Gap between ourselves and Alonso has come down a couple of tenths, and I've extended it to Hulkenberg, but we are lapping very similar lap times. I'm on ERS mode number 2 at the moment to save some energy. So in a lap or two, I'll be able to bump it into number 3. Then we'll push a little bit to try to close up to Alonso. I've got Leclerc about 8 or 9 seconds up the road in 10th place on a set of medium tyres. He's obviously going to be a bit slow. So I'm looking at about 11th place again, unfortunately. Catching past Alonso and then catching past Leclerc to the end of the race. That is if, of course, no one else drops out of the race or has to make another pit stop. So into lap 25 then. Just 5 to go. Slowly been chipping away at Alonso. We're now in DRS zone, DRS range, and hopefully put a move on into turn 1 at the end of the next lap. Almost there with the ERS as well now, all bouncing over the curbs. Should really get a bit of extra speed down the straights. Now we're a lot closer this time by. Should be a relatively straightforward move. Oh, brakes a little early. We squeeze him out. This is up to 12th place. Now we've got to catch Sainz in 11th, who's behind the Force India, who's behind Leclerc. And we've got 4 laps to do it. Going into the final lap then, it's not going to happen. If anything, we've lost time now, with the tyres really starting to struggle for grip. And they're all getting DRS off each other as well, which doesn't help. But we've managed to pull away several seconds ahead of Alonso. So 11th at Australia, and it's going to be a 12th at Bahrain, which isn't a bad start to the season for this little shitbox of a Williams. All we've got to do now is just bring it home in one piece. It's coming out the final corner then. 12th place finish, not bad really. So there we go then, there's the final classification. A few drivers did the one stop, Raikkonen won, but only 6 tenths from Verstappen, who remember started in 12th place. So we went from 12th to 2nd and almost won the race, with Vettel completing the podium. Bottas, Ricciardo and Hamilton complete the top 6. Magnussen in 7th, and the 2 Force Indians of Ocon and Perez 8th and 9th. And Charles Leclerc scores his and Sauber's first point from 14th on the grid. We finished in 12th place in a best lap time of 32.668. Sort of around the benchmark. We were quicker than Ocon. A little bit slower than Sainz, quicker than Alonso, Grosjean. Yeah, so we had good pace in that race. And we started 15th and finished 12th. So maybe the one stop wasn't the best strategy to go for, but we gained 3 positions off our qualifying. So whichever way you look at it, we've actually had a good race. So below all these guys, we've got Gasly, Van Dorn, Sorokin in 17th, managed to beat Ericsson. Hulkenberg and Hartley both retired from the race. We'll have a look at the standings. 2 races gone. Vettel leads the championship by 10 points over Verstappen. Bottas remains in 3rd place. Hamilton and Raikkonen 26-25 points. And further down, we've dropped down to 14th place, of course. Yet to score a point, as have a host of other drivers, but I'm sure that will change soon. In the constructors, Ferrari take the lead from Mercedes, 12 points their advantage. Now Red Bull in 3rd on 40 points. Haas on 16, Force India on 15 in 4th and 5th. And McLaren and Renault tied for 6th and 7th on 6. And Sauber score their first point. Leaves just us and Toro Rosso, the only 2 teams yet to score. So then the rivalry breakdown against our teammate. 4 ticks to his 2. So we extend that now 12-5. No rivalry, signing workstation, or we can choose another rival, so we'll go do that in a couple of minutes. This will be the resource points then for the race. This should be quite a nice healthy amount. Yeah, nice clean race. Race position versus qualifying, we've got 80, and the team goal bonus as well has come here in an extra 400. So 655 takes us up to 2,313. Finish 18th or better. We had 2 weekends to do it. We did it in Australia with 11th, but even if we didn't, we've managed it here in Bahrain with 12th. And then the reputation has gone up a little bit with some of the teams, more importantly with Williams. A little stab towards the veteran status as well, and the showmanship as well, which is what the team prefer. So I'm sort of answering questions that big me up, because I think the closer you get to the showmanship side, the more reputation you get with your team, which will help with contract negotiations. So let's go and have a look, see if we can have a rival.
Well done. That should get the team a nice boost to their development.
Yep.
And it won't hurt when it comes to your next contract review either.
No, of course. If you manage to complete team goals and other little expected qualifying race positions, it adds a little bit to your value, which comes in handy when we have a contract renegotiation, which I believe is every 4 races. So it'll be after Baku, I think, we can go for a new contract and add some new perks. So then we can select a rival.
You can see a list of eligible drivers to declare as your rival.
Uh-huh.
The more challenging they are to beat,
Uh-huh.
the more the paddock will respect you for succeeding.
Uh-huh.
Just be aware, you'll lose the same amount of respect if you come off second best. So it may be wise not to be overly ambitious.
No, we can't be overly ambitious because we have quite a poor car at the moment. We can only choose one rival. Anyway, it's Ericsson, which will give us respect to 25, the same as our teammate, and I believe that goes towards like our own value and stuff like that. So every rivalry we do, we get resource points as well for completing every rivalry as long as we win it, and obviously our value goes up as well. So it all helps with, you know, getting better contracts, better perks, developing the car quicker, being able to do more, that sort of thing. So research and development, we've got 2 bits hopefully coming in China. So let's have a look, see what else we can do now. We can't do anything in the chassis department or the aerodynamic department because of course the capacity is reached. We can only do 1 upgrade per department. I answered a couple of questions which helped on the powertrain department. Now we can upgrade prices being reduced by 6% and the failure chance reduced by 3. So it makes sense really to get this updated. So this is the crankshaft for the engine power. A stronger crankshaft can handle additional engine load, meaning power output can safely be increased without additional wear. Yeah, that all sounds good. So we'll slap that on the car and it will take 2 weeks to come in. So hopefully next week we've got 2 developments coming in, one from the chassis and the aerodynamic department, and then a week after that we'll have one from the powertrain. Right, 1,843 resource points left. I think it's probably a good idea to get some of this done really because we're going to need it. I don't really want loads of grid penalties as the season goes on. So I think we'll come out of this. We'll go to the vehicle management. Right, what's struggling? 35%. These have all done 119 laps, so the ICE is struggling on 35%. The MGUH is quite high as well. Turbocharger, yeah, the 3 highest ones are basically ones we get 3 units of. These ones here aren't too bad, but we only get 2 units of them. The gearbox, meanwhile, wow, 2 weekends done, 35%. We need to do some work on the gearbox. That is a definite. And probably well, we'll do the gearbox. The ICE, that always struggles, doesn't it? The ICE always struggles. The MGUH will struggle as well because that's MGUK basically. We'll add wear to that when we're running in like low mix fuel. MGUH will be when we're holding high or max fuel mix, which we do in some of the practice sessions, qualifying of course, and then some points in the race. So the MGUH will obviously struggle as well. As you can see, 27%. The turbocharger as well, actually. Gearbox, definitely an ICE. So we'll have a look at the R&D tree. Where's the gearbox? Is that it? Gearbox, right. Gearbox durability increased by 22.5%. All gearbox components will wear at a reduced rate. Yet we'll get that on the car. And then, yeah, the price goes up. It was $520. It's now $540. So we can do another 2. Where was the MGU? Was it the MGUH or K? Which one was it? H, yeah, the H. So where are we going? We want to go to this screen. So the MGU-H we need to do. So we'll do that. And where is the ICE? There you are, 560 for that. So we'll get that on the car. So we've got nice durability work coming in. Leaves us with just 223 resource points. Of course, if both of these fail down here, it's going to cost about 250 each to get back on the car, which we'll be able to do. So next week, hopefully, we've got 2 upgrades coming in. And we've also got 3 parts of a durability. We've got the MGU-H for gearbox and the ICE, so we'll start working away on the durability, which we need to do. There's nothing else to really to look at, is there really? No, that is worrying, 35%, bloody hell. But yeah, okay, it's going to happen. But there we go then. So that's the Bahrain weekend done. Practice, like I said, went very well at the beginning of the episode. Qualifying, it was nice to get into Q2, but unfortunately sort of fluffed up my lap. We only had 1 run because we only had 1 set of super soft tyres. Made a few mistakes, lined up in 15th. Went for the 1-stop strategy, and I was really happy with my pace as well. The medium tyres on this game, if you can get them to work, they're a really good, consistent tyre. I looked at my lap times during the... paused it quickly during the pit stop, obviously, which you won't see. And I looked at my lap times, they were very consistent, a couple of attempts here and there, and I think I set my fastest lap on the medium tyres, and I think it was lap 15 or 16, which just shows you how much range you can get in those medium tyres, and it got us onto the softs. We did the 1-stop strategy, caught and passed Alonso, but then towards the end of the race, even with running higher engine modes and fuel mix, the tyres were starting to struggle a little bit and I couldn't catch the guys ahead of me. But we finished in 12th place, which, you know, is 3 positions up from a qualifying place. We are expected to be at the back of the field. The car is massively underdeveloped, and so far we are exceeding all expectations and having a strong start to the season. So next week will be China. Not a bad circuit for me. It's never been a favourite, but I am quite consistent there, so hopefully we can have a similar sort of result there. But anyway, thank you very much for watching this episode, and I'll see you all for the next one very soon.